You know, when you think of yoga, you probably picture a packed studio, right? Maybe some really difficult poses. But what if I told you that's not really yoga at all? At least, not the whole story. Today, we're going to uncover the true, profound foundation of this ancient practice. And trust me, it's about a lot more than just stretching. Let's dive in. Seriously, take a second. What comes to mind? A tough stretch? A balancing act? For most of us, that's what yoga is. But the truth is that physical practice is just one small, pretty modern part of a vast system for understanding life itself. It's like judging a massive, ancient tree by looking at just a single leaf. And look, don't get me wrong, the poses, the asanas, and the breathing techniques are absolutely part of yoga. But they're not the destination. Think of them more like tools, or maybe pathways, that are designed to prepare you for something much, much bigger, a state of being that connects you to the very foundation of life. So, to really get this, we have to go back to the beginning. The word yoga itself tells a story, and you might be surprised to hear it has almost nothing to do with physical flexibility. It's all about the mind. Okay, so the word yoga comes from the Sanskrit root yuj, which literally means to yoke or to unite. Think of yoking two oxen together so they can work as one powerful unit. That's the whole idea, to unite the individual self with universal consciousness, to connect the mind with the body and our actions with our awareness. It's the ultimate practice of connection. This brings us to probably the most famous classical definition, from the great sage Patanjali. He said yoga is the calming of the chitta vrittis, which is just a beautiful, poetic way of describing our mental chatter. You know that constant whirlwind of thoughts, worries, and random memories? Yoga is the discipline to quiet that storm and find a state of calm, focused clarity. But it's not just about sitting still and being quiet. The ancient text, the Bhagavad Gita, gives us another profound definition. Yoga is skill in action. This means bringing that same meditative focus into everything you do, your job, your relationships, your hobbies. It's about acting with excellence and purpose without getting all emotionally tangled up in the results. So you see, whether it's calming the mind or acting skillfully, the real practice of yoga is an internal one. It's a state of being that completely transforms how you experience the world, infusing every single moment with presence and purpose. So where did this incredibly powerful philosophy even come from? Well, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's the product of thousands of years of wisdom, evolving and adapting through all these different ages. Its earliest seeds are way back in the Vedas, humanity's oldest texts. Then, it was famously revived in the epic Mahabharata. For centuries, it was a practice really only for ascetics, until figures like Guru Gorakhnath in the 10th century started making it more accessible to more people. And now, all this time later, we've entered what's called the Yoga Yuga, a global age of yoga, where this ancient wisdom is maybe needed more than ever. Okay, so if yoga is this vast, ancient system, what's the point of it all? What's the end game? Well, this ancient philosophy provides a surprisingly practical roadmap for fulfilling life, and yoga is the engine that drives you toward that final destination. And that ultimate destination is a state called moksha, which means liberation. Liberation from what, you ask? From that constant cycle of stress, dissatisfaction, and just that nagging feeling of being incomplete that so many of us feel. It's about realizing your true, calm, and whole nature. This is the real spiritual heart of yoga. And the path to moksha is incredibly practical. It's laid out in 4 stages, known as the Purusharthas. First, you find your purpose and live ethically. That's dharma. Then, on that solid foundation, you build your prosperity. That's artha. Then, you use that prosperity to fulfill your desires and enjoy life. That's kama. The idea is that only when you've lived a full, ethical life can you truly be ready for the final step, liberation or moksha. It's really a blueprint for a complete human experience. Now, a quick but really important distinction here. Don't confuse the life goals, the Purusharthas, with the social attitudes, the bhavanas. Think of it this way. The goals are your destination on the map. The attitudes, things like friendliness and compassion, are the rules of the road that make sure you have a smooth and safe journey to get there. Okay, so we've talked about the philosophy of how to live. Now we're going to go even deeper, into the inner world. Yogic science maps out this incredibly complex, unseen energetic system within us called the subtle body. This is where the physical practice starts to make sense on a whole new level. Get this, ancient texts say our bodies are wired with 72,000 subtle energy channels called nadis. 72,000! Think of it like a spiritual nervous system, a super intricate information highway for our life force. The whole goal of yoga is to keep these pathways clear and balanced.
Now, among those thousands of channels, there are three main highways. There's a left channel for cooling, calming energy, and a right channel for heating, active energy. The ultimate goal is to balance these two so that energy can flow right up the most important one, the central channel, or the sushumna. And stationed all along that central channel are the major energy hubs that we call the chakras.
And this brings us to Kundalini. It's described as this massive reserve of dormant, divine energy that's just coiled at the base of our spine. The entire system, all the poses, the breathing, the purification of the channels, it's all designed to awaken this energy so it can rise up that central channel through the chakras. When it reaches the very top, that is the state of enlightenment that we call moksha.
So let's put it all together. Yoga isn't just a workout. It's a complete system for life. It's an ethical guide for how to act. It's a psychological toolkit for mastering your mind. And it's an energetic roadmap for unlocking your absolute highest potential.
Which leaves us with one final question. In our modern world, a world that's so full of distraction, stress, and a deep search for meaning, is it possible that this ancient path to mastering our inner world isn't just relevant, but is actually the most essential tool we have? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.